What's up, Cosorians? I'm Chef Mia, and today we'll be making roasted veggie tacos. We'll be pairing naturally sweet butternut squash, earthy kale, and spiced cauliflower, topped with a Serrano-Cilantro avocado crema. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to become a part of the Cosori community, and if you'd like to receive notifications for each new video we upload, hit the bell icon. Okay everyone, now that we have our spices all measured out and ready to go, this is going to be the prep for the butternut squash. So what you want to do first is just going to take the butternut squash, lay it horizontally on your cutting board, take a sharp chef's knife and just cut off the tip. With the butternut squash, you just want to be really careful because it is a harder squash and also the skin is very thick. So right now, after you've cut the ends off, you're going to go directly down in the middle. And if you can't really tell right now, but in this hand right here, there's gonna be a little dip and there's gonna be a cavity filled with all the seeds, and that's what we're gonna scoop out in a moment. But for now, we're just gonna go straight into peeling the butternut squash. You're gonna put the cut side down, and how you're gonna wanna peel this is, unfortunately, you don't wanna use a vegetable peeler, because if you use a vegetable peeler, you have the tendency of breaking your vegetable peeler. So you're just gonna wanna do it like this. And then you want to curl your fingers in, put the blade against your first knuckle on your index finger, and just gently push down and away from your body as you contour the outlines of the butternut squash with the knife. And so now, once you have that peel, you're just going to push everything aside, and we're just going to cut them into large, 1/4 inch thick trapezoidal shapes. Once you have all that done, we're just going to lay it out like this. And whatever height you're more comfortable with, we're just gonna start cutting them into 1/4 inch batons. They're going to be about 1 to 2 inches long. Try to keep them all the same width so they cook evenly inside the air fryer later. So now that that's done, I just wanted to show you guys really quickly how to deal with the other half of your butternut squash. Again, flip it cut side down. To make this portion easier, just to get the seeds out, you're going to want to cut it directly in half again, and then just go in with a spoon and scoop everything out. Now that we have everything prepped, we're going to go ahead and add the spice mixture into your vegetables. I'm going to start off with a large bowl with the cauliflower. I'm going to give a healthy pour of the olive oil. And then just so it's evenly mixed, we're just going to go right in with your hands and just toss it all together. You could definitely go ahead and add all the spices all at once, but I like layering my spices just so I know everything is coated evenly, especially with something as mild as cauliflower. You want to make sure that it's definitely well coated with the spice of your choice. And for today, we're going to use nutmeg. Nutmeg is nutty, you know, because nutmeg, and we want to make sure that nutmeg gives the cauliflower that subtle warmth that it does because of its flavor profile. And it's also just very homey. Once everything starts roasting together and mixing together, it's gonna smell a little bit like Christmas in July. I know that's weird, but that's okay. So while we have the nutmeg in there, I'm gonna add a little bit of the kosher salt. And then we're gonna go in with the coriander. I'm gonna save half of the coriander for when we mix the butternut squash. Just gonna toss it in there. And the same thing with the cinnamon. And last but not least, the cayenne pepper. If you don't like spicy food, I recommend using only half the amount we're showing you in this video. If you do like a kick in your tacos though, I highly recommend putting all the cayenne pepper in there. It's really nice once it's all balanced together with the kale, butternut squash, and cauliflower. All right. This looks pretty good to me and it smells really good, you guys. It definitely smells like Christmas a little bit with like a kick. And then we're gonna just go into the same bowl. So you're gonna add some more olive oil. And then we're going to finish off that teaspoon of ground coriander, the half teaspoon of cinnamon, and then that final half teaspoon of the rest of the cayenne pepper, sorry. We're leaving the brown sugar off to the side for now, and I'll explain why in a moment. Just mixing here just to get the cauliflower and the butternut squash fully coated with the spice mixture. And it's okay if you don't mix together like the cauliflower and the butternut squash. It's all the same mixtures anyways. So these tacos are gonna be really delicious, you guys, because you got the nice crunch from the cauliflower. The butternut squash is gonna get some nice caramelization going after you add in the brown sugar later. So it caramelizes the outside and just draws out the natural sweetness from the butternut squash. And then of course you got that kick of cayenne at the end after each bite. And now it's time to prepare your kale. For today, we're just going to take a few leaves of each so we have a healthy mixtures, better for your texture, the color, and the overall presentation for your tacos. Super easy to clean kale. Take 2 fingers and literally just slide the leaf off. That's it, super easy. All right, I think that's more than enough kale, and it's a little messy right now, but really what you just want is to break it into about 1-inch, 2-inch pieces. It's okay if you have to put them on your kitchen counter. It's all going in the air fryer anyways. Back to our extra virgin olive oil and the salt. You'll never want to over salt your greens or anything that you're making in the kitchen because you can always adjust it at the end. But about right now, we're probably gonna go with like 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil and then just another pinch of kosher salt, maybe a little bit more. And now here's the fun part. You're just gonna pretend you're giving someone a really nice shoulder massage. Kind of get all of that in there. What this does is kind of break apart the cell walls located within the leaves of the kale. And then you can make sure that the kale is absorbing all of that great flavor from the extra virgin olive oil. And we're gonna go directly to the air fryer now. Be careful because the inner basket is hot. And we're just gonna go ahead and use a brush and brush a really thin layer of extra virgin olive oil inside the inner basket. And then when you put your kale in, put them in loose bunches all across the bottom. And now you're ready to go. These kale chips are delicious. They're super crispy and a great healthy alternative to your classic potato chips. I'm gonna insert back into the air fryer. Adjust your temperature to 370 Fahrenheit. And then the time, you wanna adjust that down to just only 5 minutes. And there you go. Wow, 5 minutes already, you guys. We can take the kale out now. It's so crispy. You guys hear this? Yeah, that's awesome. And then now we're just gonna sprinkle it with some more kosher salt just so there's enough flavor. I'm just gonna give it a quick toss. Set that aside just for a few moments so it cools and then we can transfer it to a bowl. And now we can start roasting the veggies. All right, so now our air fryer has just finished preheating. We're just gonna take it out, and the same thing as what we did with the kale chips earlier. Just wanna brush it lightly with some extra virgin olive oil, just so your vegetables don't stick to the bottom of that fryer grate. And we're just gonna gently put all of that in there. That was about a cup of cauliflower florets and half of the butternut squash cut into 1/4-inch batons. And now we're just gonna put it back into the air fryer. You're gonna adjust the temperature back up to 400. The time to 12 minutes. And then we're just gonna press the shake button. And as soon as I press start, the timer is gonna go, but then at 6 minutes, when the shake button goes off and you hear the beeping, we're gonna pull everything out of the air fryer and toss in the brown sugar. Perfect, so the shake reminder just went off. We're gonna go ahead and pull out the air fryer basket now. And just so you guys can see, it's already starting to get halfway cooked really nicely. So right now we're just adding in the tablespoon of brown sugar. And again, because it's hot, you want to be careful. Just use a pair of silicone tip tongs. And the reason why we stress the silicone is because you don't want to scratch the inside of your air fryer basket. And what the brown sugar does is really just help the caramelization process for the butternut squash. It'll help round out the spiciness from the cayenne and just really bring together all those great flavors we have in this basket right now. I wish you guys could smell this. It literally smells like Christmas and we're in the middle of July, so yeah. And just enter it back into the basket and it automatically resume cooking. Your roasted veggies are now done. We can take them out of the air fryer. And look at that. Super steamy, super ready, super delicious. We've got the nice caramelization on the butternut squash. The cauliflower is cooked all the way, but it's not overcooked, so it won't be mushy when you bite into it. And it's just smells like Christmas, you guys. All right, so I recommend just leaving it in your air fryer so it stays warm for your tacos. Or if you like your tacos to be a little bit more room temperature, easier to hold, you can just leave it off to the side. But I'm just gonna put it back into the air fryer. All right, and now we're gonna move on to that Serrano-Cilantro avocado crema. The first thing we're gonna do is to clean the serrano peppers. We're just going to slice it directly in half, lengthwise. And then for the seeds, you could really run it under some water and it will fall out. But since there's a pith and the vein right here, we're just gonna go in with the tip of the chef knife, just lightly like that, on both ends. And then just go back in, push down lightly, and peel everything back. Okay, so we're just gonna clean up everything just a little bit. Use the back edge of your knife to scrape everything over. And just as a friendly reminder to all you out there, don't touch your eyes after this unless you wash your hands first. So we're just going to slice these, give it a quick mince. And again, when you're cutting, make sure you keep your fingers curled, that knife blade right up against your knuckle of the index finger so you never cut yourself. And you can just keep on going. I've already prepared my chopped cilantro, so we're just gonna go right ahead into the mixing bowl, put all of that cilantro in there. It's about 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to take the quarter piece of the minced serrano, put that in there as well. And then we're gonna hit it with some fresh lime zest. You're just gonna microplane that really quick. You want the entire lime to be zest. The lime zest will help bring out the earthy notes, bright acidity notes from the lime itself and counteract with the cilantro. And then we're just going to slice that in half. You have a juicer at home, you can definitely use that, or you can use a squeegee, that's what this is called. Place it lime down this way, and then you're just gonna put it over the bowl and give it a good squeeze. And you do want a full lime to be juiced for this sauce. This sauce is really nice, you guys. It's got a nice cooling effect, so it counteracts with the cayenne inside of the roasted veggies. And then once you add in the avocado, which we'll do right now, the avocado is earthy and it's slightly sweet, and it will just bring out another dimension of creaminess and just fresh flavors. I'm just gonna give it a quick slice and dice, slice and dice, just this way. And then we're gonna actually pull out a spoon and get that all in the bowl. There's 2 ways to make this sauce. I've already got one version made, it's already in the fridge, and that version is actually a pureed blended version. You could do that in a blender, you could do it with a food processor or an immersion blender. But for right now, I want to show you this version because taco nights, at least for me growing up here in Orange County, they were very big for family nights, especially family game nights. We would do Taco Tuesdays, get into the spirit of marketing and everything. And we would play board games and have tacos family style out, just laid out on the table, and everyone can choose how much sauce they want and all of that. And so we're gonna do the same here. Just let me move that aside really quick. Bring that closer to me. I'm gonna add in a pinch of kosher salt. And again, less is more, so you can flavor as you go. And then this is going to be the 1 cup of sour cream. Or if you live next to a Hispanic grocery store, you can go in and get the Mexican crema. It's really good also. They're pretty much the same, except the Mexican crema, I feel like personally it has more milky notes and milky flavors. And so after we put in the salt and the sour cream, we're just gonna give everything a really quick mix with your spoon before we go over using the rubber spatula. I like using the rubber spatula because you have a little bit more versatility, and what I mean by that is you can make sure to scrape down the sides of your bowl. You could use this flat surface area to really smooth out your avocado so it's not as chunky. But if you do like chunky avocado, like guacamole, like chunks of fresh avocado in there, of course, like leave those in there. But for the purposes of our sauce today, we're gonna try to get it as smooth as possible. It definitely won't be as smooth as if you're using a food blender, immersion blender, or blender, but it does the trick. So we're just gonna give that a nice mix. And the color is really pretty too, in my opinion. It's a nice pale green. You've got the fresh chopped cilantro in there, and this sauce definitely has a kick, but it's toned down because of the sour cream and the avocado. So not only is it slightly earthy, but it is a little bit more umami in my opinion, which is just more savory. And the bright acid from the lime really brings out all the natural flavors and just combines everything beautifully together. Now, what I like to do for family style is to dole up the sauces into these little bowls here. And that way, your guests can choose how much sauce they would like to put on their tacos. Some people like a lot of sauce, some people don't really want a lot of sauce. So it's a nice interaction piece. And if it's a little messy, that's okay. You can clean it up as we go. The next step that we're going to do, you guys, is just time to build the tacos, which is the fun part, the exciting part, because then that means we get to taste it. Now everybody, it's time for my favorite part of the day, assembly time. We're gonna start with your corn tortillas, or if you like flour tortillas, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you have dietary restrictions that restrains you from eating gluten or wheat, you can choose to use Boston bib lettuce, or known as butterhead. They're very soft and very malleable, and they're really light and crispy, but it has a lot more flavor instead of iceberg lettuce, and it's not as earthy or stringy or weird textured as romaine lettuce. We're gonna start off with the corn tortillas. I've already got them preheated. To start off, we're just going to spoon some of that delicious Serrano crema on the bottom of the tortillas, just to get a good base going. And then we're gonna start off by building a nice foundation with the kale, because there is some residual like vegetable juice or sauce, I guess, from the roasted veggies. I'm just gonna go in here, take a good little amount, get some more cauliflower in there so every bite has some good flavor. And then I personally will add a little bit more kale on the top so that every bite is even. And this is why I like to use a squeeze bottle. You can make sure, presentation wise, you can do something like that, which is really nice. And then we're going to actually top off with some red onions. The red onions are a really nice addition to this flavor profile because it'll bring out a nice brightness, add a bit more acidity. And then we're also adding some queso fresco. Delicious. Every bite is just gonna be melt in your mouth delicious. Well, maybe not melt, but you get the gist. And then, if you have a taco stand at home, you can pull that out. You're just going to carefully fold your taco up like so. Bring that to the center and place it down. Beautiful, love the colors. We're just going to leave it like that. And the last thing I want to show you is if you're going to be making lettuce wraps because you're on Whole30, you're keto, paleo, just flat out gluten intolerant, you want to kind of do the same thing but with a little bit less sauce. So I would go in with the squeeze bottle, give it a nice drizzle of sauce. I'll just put not 2 layers of kale, but just 1, so everything fits. About the same amount of veggies. It's a little bit too much butternut squash. That's okay, we can just put it back in the bowl. And the same thing, top it off with some onions, give it that fresh acidity, the brightness, and then for that extra little hint of deliciousness, some queso fresco. If you are vegan and you cannot consume dairy, but you aren't vegan, I would just omit the cheese, and instead of using sour cream for your sauce, you can use straight, not jalapeno, sorry, but straight avocados, and it'll still be really creamy and delicious. And that's it for your lettuce wrap. You put it back onto the plate and continue building if you like. And these are the roasted veggie tacos. Now it's time for my favorite part of the day, the tasting. So for me, I'm going to be trying it with the Boston Bib lettuce because of my dietary restrictions. However, if you do not have any restrictions, please go ahead and try the original corn tortillas. I'm just gonna go right ahead. That's so good, you guys. I can't wait for you guys to try it because regardless of what shell you're using, the flavors are just in perfect harmony. You've got a really nice kick from the cayenne pepper, but as soon as it starts to get too spicy, you get into that creamy Serrano-Cilantro dressing, and it automatically cools down right away. The butternut squash is like perfectly cooked, so it's not too soft, but it's sweet and caramelly. And then you got the nice nuttiness from the spiced cauliflower and that little bit of earthiness from the kale, and it's just so good. I'm going in for another bite. And then, upon the second bite, the red onions on the top just make a world of difference. It's nice and bright, it's acidic, and it really does help tie in everything. It pairs really nicely with the cayenne, and it's not too spicy, and it's really delicious. For those of you who will be trying the corn tortilla, it's very nice because the corn tortilla kind of hugs all the vegetables and it engulfs it in kind of an earthier, more subtle, grain-like flavor, and especially a little bit sweeter because it's made with corn flour, and it should just be as amazing as it is with the Bib lettuce. I want to know what your favorite taco fillings are. My favorite is roasted mushrooms because it's a great alternative for meatless tacos. Leave your answer down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really hope you try this recipe and you enjoy it as much as I do, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.